fun. He's back.
Hey,
Alison Moran.
Alison.
What's going on, my dear? How are you?
Hey, trying to adjust to these new hours, Bri. I'm telling you, I drive you too.
Listen, we're all trying to adjust. And as I explained, it's for medical appointment purposes and work purposes that I had to move the time here.
I totally understand, buddy. I totally understand. And it's interesting because, we will do anything for these jobs. We will get up at 4 a.m. We will, which I did for 15 years. And you just do it. You're like, hey, we like being on the air. If I look a little sleepy this week, I'll put somebody call in. I will put ice packs on my eyes earlier in the morning, and get rid of the black circles under my eyes. No problem. But
trust me, I get it. My alarm is set for 7:30 every morning to get up.
Listen, this morning, because my wife made an adjustment in her schedule, her alarm went off earlier than usual.
Oh.
And she didn't hear it. I did. And I said, honey, your phone's going off. And she said, what? He reaches over and look. Everyone's had that look, okay? When you don't hear your alarm and your partner does, and you're like, what the hell is this? And you reach over. She reached over, grabbed her phone, looked at it, turned it off. She didn't hit snooze. She turned it off.
I love it.
And went back to sleep. I fall back to sleep. Next thing I know, my daughter's knocking on our door going, Mom, we got to get going. We're both going, what? Look at the phone at 7:30. And we're going, oh no.
Dang.
So they race out of here. I handle the garbage can, so it's out by the road so the garbage man can pick it up. I race back in here with my dog on my tail. I brew a pot of coffee, a full pot, because I'm killing that thing later today. Then came in here with about 5 minutes to spare and got the show going. So you will do, as Allie described best, and we've done this many a year. You will do anything and adjust to any schedule. Lord knows I had to adjust to. Well, I may as well go ahead and drop this bomb right now. There may be a chance that I may be back doing the first ever school that I covered for women's basketball, and that's Chicago State University. I might have them back. I was told to reach out to them toward basketball season, so I'm going to be all basketballed out, covering Indiana Northwest, possibly Chicago State. Virtually covering the Bulls and the Warriors and the Spurs, which means Bill Schoenig's going to get a hold of me, which means I'm probably going to meet him in Indianapolis again like I did this past year. Oh, boy. And I got women's basketball. Oh, boy.
Let's talk about it, huh?
Let's. I mean,
where do you want to start, big man?
The WNBA playoffs are underway.
Yeah.
Alison made a correct prediction about who would snatch the 8th seed.
I said it was going to be Atlanta.
You did.
I said it. There were at the end of regular season, there were 3 teams tied. You could have gone with the Chicago Sky. No. The Washington Mystics or the people who wanted it the most, as I said, the people who wanted it the most, which was the Atlanta Dream.
Mm-hmm.
That said, be careful what you wish for, because they got the New York Liberty, the number 1 seed.
Yeah, the number 1 seed. Yep.
And in the first game on Sunday, they were The Atlanta Dream was truly blown out, 83-69. And you can credit that to one little rookie on the Liberty named Leonie Fiebich, German player, who had a career high 21 points. Interesting other fact on that particular game, Courtney Vandersloot played off the bench for the first time since 2017. She has not been a bench player. She was the general on and they called her that on the Chicago Sky during the championship season. She was the one who said, "You go here, you go there. You go here, you go there." James Waden, she had a system going on that team. And she actually, though, in this particular game, surpassed Sue Bird to become the all-time playoffs assists leader to do that. This is going to be, I think, New York Liberty's year. Okay? Unless it's the Lynx's year. Let me put it to you that.
Those two. It could be the Lynx, it could be the Liberty, but those are the top two teams I'm looking at to face the finals.
Yes, and it's going to be a dogfight when they are on the docket again tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. And as you know, this is a best of 3 series. They're back in New York tonight. If by chance Atlanta can figure out some way to get beyond their tonight, they will be back in Atlanta on Thursday night. But
the one thing that Atlanta has to solve is that savage New York defense. And when I say that savage New York defense, I mean just that.
For me, I don't see it. I see Atlanta as a super scrappy team. I think that they fought damn hard, but there's too many holes to fill. And in terms of mounting a good defense, first of all, and I do believe that New York has come through most times this season. Sabrina Ionescu alone is a big factor in these games. So I'm just not seeing that this is Atlanta's year. They proved a point. They went from a horrible team to a better team. They made the playoffs this year. Let's build for next year. I mean, they jettisoned their chances for a very decent draft pick by going into the playoffs this year. We'll see. We'll see. But I was not. I looked at them. I thought their play was a little bit sloppy. I thought that they were slow and compared and against the New York crowd, I just don't see it. So
no, I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't
either.
The biggest thing Atlanta's also got to deal with is rebounding because they were taking a school on the boards.
Oh, they were killed. They were killed.
They were just flat murder.
They were killed on the boards.
It was bad. It was bad. Let's talk about the other game tonight. Seattle at Las Vegas. Yeah, another not so much a blowout. Not so much a blowout. Now, Las Vegas, as you know, 2-time champs. Will they make it a third? Maybe. I don't see it. I don't know. 78-67, first round. Let's just say that there is no stopping the unanimous MVP of this year, Asia Wilson, 28 years old, her third MVP. I mean, there's only been one other person who was a unanimous MVP. Who was that? Do you remember? Do you remember, Brian, from 28 years ago? It was Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper from the late and great Houston Comets. Who won the first 4 WNBA championships. Okay? There's no stopping Asia Wilson this year. Now, except the first half of this game. If you can remember, the first half of game 1 was Asia Wilson was held to 4 points. Is that ever going to happen again? She scored. Now, to remind you, Asia Wilson scored 17 points in the rest of the game for a total of 21. So think about it. If you can only contain Asia Wilson for 4 points in one half of the game, you ain't winning.
No,
not a chance.
Not a chance. Yeah, and Becky Hammond, the woman is so smart and so good at what she does. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to win this year. I think it's iffy, to be honest with you. I don't know what she's going to do, but think of it this way. In this game, Seattle led by as many as 11 points in the first half, but were held to only a field goal in the fourth. That was it.
Wow.
If you can think about it, they were outscored 16-2 in the fourth quarter by the Las Vegas Aces.
Yikes.
Yeah. Now, Skylar Diggins-Smith, love the lady. Love Seattle. Absolutely. 16 points and 8 assists. And she was the high scorer. She did her best. But Las Vegas, damn, they find every way humanly possible to get in your skin and make sure that they go over at the end. And that's the way they will sneak in. They will do dirty. They will play dirty. They will make it so hard for you. Yeah. It's going to be, I mean, I don't see them. I don't see Seattle going through those defenses. I don't see it.
And that boxing one that Becky Hammond revealed in their 2-game set against Indiana toward the end of the season, that's kind of a secret weapon for them. Because that's how they contain Caitlin Clark. And we'll get to Caitlin Clark in just a minute. But the unanimous MVP, Asia Wilson. Yeah. There has been no argument all year.
No.
About who the most valuable player is.
No question
whatsoever.
Yes. Well, let's put it this way. This season, she averaged 27 points and 12 rebounds a game, 2 to 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks per game. Who puts up those kinds of numbers?
3 blocks.
Maybe Michael Jordan back in the day. But, I mean, come on. You know, this end of season, her stats, 1,021 points, 451 rebounds, 20 double-doubles, and more than 447 plus rebounds. In the end, Angel Reese might have beat her on that had she not had that horrible injury and had to drop out in the last couple of weeks of the season, which also finished off the Chicago Sky, essentially. She's only the second player in history, like I said, to be a unanimous choice. So that says something to the character, the determination, and the ability of Asia Wilson. So, I mean, you just have to know. By the way, every other person who was a 3-time MVP not only do you have you've got this list. This is the caliber of the company she's keeping. Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swopes, and Lauren Jackson. 3 phenomenal players, all in the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, no, you're not getting on. You're not getting beyond
No.
this year. You're not.
No.
You're not.
No.
Let's put the Aces at least as a safe choice for the second round.
Yep.
Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Question is, do they get past New York?
And that I'll say it again, that savage defense of New York, that's going to be.
I'd see that series going 5.
Easily.
What are Alison's thoughts on the Women's Hockey League team names, which I have here in front of me? You have the Boston Fleet, the Minnesota Frost, the Victoire from Montreal, the New York Sirens, the Ottawa Charge, and the Toronto Scepters. Those are the 6 names, and those are the original 6. And Droid has a thought. Go ahead, Droid.
I'm awake.
I know
it was silent throughout this entire segment so far, but I'm awake. I heard hockey. and the thing is, it's like I'm not really able to follow the WNBA as much, is because ESPN, they be scamming. They be making me pay a lot more money just to even look at the WNBA.
That's why beginning next year, I'm going to do more virtual calls for it, because the reception has been great. My health, however, was not for most of the season. So just a lot of recovery. But I'm going to cover the playoffs, because ESPN, and we talked about this before, ESPN will scam the daylights out of you and put it behind a paywall. They'll put games behind a paywall, and people are already paying for cable as it is.
Yeah.
And don't forget, people are playing for NHL Power Play as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really hard to find some of the WNBA games that I'm covering.
Yes. It is.
And because they could be on Prime, they could be on I'm trying to think, Ion. By the way, Ion was got incredible numbers this year. They came out with that. It's it was something like it was a 2-year deal with Ion, and it was about 121% that they raised their visibility during those games. So it was a very good year for Ion. Hopefully they'll re-up this deal. This was the second year of that deal. I can't see that they wouldn't, because it's been good for Ion. Known as the home of Criminal Minds, mostly, and all kinds of detective shows.
And my wife and I are hooked on watching those shows. Okay, I'm hooked. Speaking of a return, there's a return to Portland for the WNBA in 2026. They're going back to the Pacific Northwest. I love it.
$125 million. The Rise Sports paid for that franchise, and they are going to start play in 2026. Now, this is not the first team that has been in Portland for 3 seasons. They had the Portland Fire, which actually had the distinction of being the only franchise in the WNBA to never make the postseason in those 3 years. Sad, but the interest is there. The dollars are there. It's going to be great. And it's so cool because my kid's partner actually lives in Portland now and goes to school there.
Very nice.
So I'm so excited. Hi, Dex. Hope you're doing well. And so when they start play, Dex will be a junior. And so I'll be very happy to go out there and cover that franchise starting in the summer of 2026.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
That's going to be
Here.
good.
Making plans with my RV to be up in Portland, Oregon, covering that team and covering the WNBA, man.
That
It's
will
so
be
much fun.
And that will be the 15th franchise, by the way, for the WNBA. So we're all looking forward to that. And it's, that's a big coup because that is a nice area, beautiful area. They need indoor sports because of all the rain. So,
them
in Seattle. You have the Dearica Hamby update for us, do you not?
Oh, dear Lord, yes. The Aces have filed a countersuit in this ongoing litigation between them and now LA Sparks player Dearica Hamby. There were so many instances in which Hamby says that while she was pregnant, they had broken promises to her that were stated in the contract. And so what happened with Hamby was pretty difficult. She had a tough pregnancy. She had to take out more time than expected. She had said that the team had promised her certain things and didn't get them. Okay, so the Aces came back and said, we accommodated Dearica Hamby in every way humanly possible. And further alleging that everything that she said in her lawsuit was untrue. And so this countersuit, I think, is going to go on for a very long in There's been no decision on it. It's become very complicated. And in some ways, Becky Hammond, first of all, was saying, we gave her everything. We accommodated everything she needed. She got the nursery. She got time off to breastfeed, all this stuff. So it's going to be a very complex suit, number one. It's going to be the worst in terms of striking workers' rights, first of all, and it will be a precedent setter for the league in terms of how they are going to be able to move forward with players who get pregnant. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I think it's going to depend on the lawyers. It's going to depend on who presents the better case and has more evidence to their to their side. But I think that if Hamby's smart, she's going to call witnesses from other WNBA players who have been dissatisfied and pregnant. If the WNBA, particularly the Las Vegas Aces, are smart, they are going to point to every instance in which they accommodated her. They are going to have to point to all of the emails, text, whatever ways that they have communicated with Dearica Hamby on how they are going, how they were proceeding with what she did. Did it ever get personal? Did it ever get vicious? Good question. I don't know how it's going to turn out. We got a couple more games to cover for Wednesday, though, in the WNBA playoffs. I don't know how much time I have, but I want to make sure our listeners know everything that they need to know.
You got as much time as you need. Don't worry about it.
Go for it.
You're sweet. You're sweet. First of all, Indiana at Connecticut, the Fever versus the Sun. Who gets hotter? The first thing is, okay, nothing short of a blowout for the Indiana, against Indiana, 93-69 on Sunday. And Caitlin Clark ends up with a black eye at the end of the game. Okay. It was a brutal game for Caitlin Clark. She had 11 points and 8 assists. Now, for some, that's a career night, but
this is Caitlin Clark we're talking about.
Yeah, that Connecticut plays really hard nosed, especially late games. So,
and I love how Connecticut plays. It reminds me of a lot of like older basketball.
Yeah,
a lot like what Detroit played in the 80s.
Yep. The Pistons you're talking about. Yes, those the bad boys. I got a chance.
Many came up watch with the bad boys. Yikes!
And you know the fun part of those bad boys was, and to my particular dismay and loathing, the baddest of the bad boys, Bill Lambier. He became a coach both with the Detroit Shock and the New York Liberty.
Can we please bring back the Detroit Shock?
You know what? There's a movement. There's a movement out there to bring back the Detroit Shock.
Because didn't they win the championship in Detroit?
Yeah, they won a couple. And
before they moved to Tulsa and then moved to Dallas.
Sure did.
And now they became the Dallas Wings ultimately. And it was sad. I'm not sure. I'm not recalling the reason for that move, but I think it was
a good one.
Pardon me?
Because there isn't a good one.
Yeah,
this is like when the Rams were forced to move after they won their championship in St. Louis.
Yeah, and it sucks, you know.
It does.
Because I think Detroit is a wonderful city for WNBA basketball. It was for a very, very, very long time.
Shock should have never gone away. Unfortunately, we're out of time here.
Like the perfect time to bring the WNBA back to Detroit is now, because Detroit is fiending for a good basketball team.
Yeah, they are.
Need it.
They are.
They need one. And, you know, Bill Lambier may have, as you know, he was the original coach of the Las Vegas Aces as well. He instilled that style within them. And, you know, Becky Hammond is the perfect successor to Bill Lambier. And the thing is that you've got to remember with Indiana at Connecticut, which is an important matchup. It was Dejanay Carrington that had the Bill Lambier poke.
Elbow. Yep.
Yeah, that elbow poke. Didn't get a foul for it. No flagrancy, nothing.
No nothing.
I looked at that replay, and there was definite flagrancy.
There was. But they're not going to call it. Not in the not in the playoffs.
That's so stupid.
It is. It is stupid.
So stupid. Well, you know, let's talk just a little bit about Marina Mabrey, who the Chicago Sky, you know, traded away mostly because Marina Mabrey wanted to play on a championship team and was not happy with her role in Chicago. She had 27 points in the blowout, and she had the most points in a reserve in the WNBA postseason history. So she was on fire. I was sitting there with Greg. Greg was holding my hand as I was crying.
Wait. Hold on.
I love it.
I just read something.
It was the saddest thing. I'm going, they should never have let her be traded.
Right.
They should never have let her go. That was the end of the season as far as I was concerned.
Yep.
20 of her points came in the second half, and she converted 5 of 8 3-point attempts. This woman wants a championship. And I don't blame her. I truly don't.
What's
What, Droid?
What's up, Droid?
You said something.
Breaking news. What?
What?
Donna Orender, part of investment group exploring Jacksonville WNBA expansion franchise.
Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville,
Yes,
Illinois,
Florida.
what?
Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida.
Nice.
WNBA in Jacksonville?
It's
Wow.
That is not too bad. They only have the Jaguars.
yeah.
True.
Yeah,
I think it's time. I think
can see it. I can see it.
I love that they would have
2026 is, of course, because you want to have even amount of teams. You want to have an even amount of teams to split between two divisions.
Yep.
you need 16 teams.
Yeah.
You need 16. Right now, we would be expanding to 14 if this whole Jacksonville thing does actually happen, and it's projected to start same time as Portland. We'd be going into 14 teams, and then
We're already into 14 teams because Toronto and Golden State are already in. So we already got 14 teams.
and then you'd be
right.
16 with Jacksonville and Portland.
Yeah,
Let's count them.
following year.
And
18 roughly. 18
I
roughly.
think 18 would be 18. I think 18 would be the limit.
yeah.
For
18
now.
I think
For
18
now,
would
with
be
the
fine.
funds for now.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did look things up just a second ago. The reason Detroit ended up leaving where they were, the biggest reason of them all, financial.
Vegas. Yeah, it explains a lot of WNBA teams. And we're
But I think there's two cities after Portland and possibly Jacksonville I'd want the WNBA in.
Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Kansas City would be
Read me like a book. Oh my goodness.
Look, I
City,
love
Missouri,
I
or
love
Kansas
basketball in Kansas City. Kansas City,
Well,
Missouri.
of course it'd have to be KC Mo because that's where most of your
Kansas
attractions
City,
would be.
Missouri. Yep. You got.
And plus, you already got the T-Mobile Arena in there.
You got the Royals. You got the and you got the Big 12 tournament, which I plan to make this year.
You also got the Chiefs over there. You got Sporting Kansas City, and then you got Kansas Speedway.
Yep, and you got the Royals. You got everything. Kansas City will be a perfect spot.
I would love that. And there is no pro basketball in the entire state of Missouri. Not since the St. Louis Spirits.
Yep.
Not
after the Kansas City Kings left.
Yeah.
The Kings left in 86.
Yeah, my God. That's unreal. So there's always a good reason. Yeah, Missouri's a great state. So I see no reason why that shouldn't happen.
My last one, I have to pick between two Pennsylvania cities.
Flip a coin.
Philadelphia.
I'm going to pick Pittsburgh.
Give me Philly.
I would love Philly, yes, but the 76ers have already tarnished Philly. We need a professional basketball team.
Just a moment. You better say your sentence right. The current 76ers have tarnished Philadelphia.
Yes.
I'll remember the 76ers forever. Well, listen, I'll remember the 76ers forever because of Julius Erving, Bobby Jones, Moses Malone, Maurice Cheeks, Allen Iverson. That's how I remember the Sixers.
Charles Barkley.
Sir Charles.
Sir Charles.
You can't forget Sir Charles.
I had a personal experience with him back in the day when he was with Philadelphia. I was an intern, and he was as five deep in the locker room, answering questions and swearing up a storm, in fact. And he sees me 5 rows back. He looks at me. Les Grobstein could actually tell me exactly what he said almost 20 years later. And but he looks at me and he goes, "Sorry." Really sorry.
By the way, Joel Embiid, we looking at you. You being in the Sixers organization has ruined things.
but like my point is, like, I want to bring I would like the WNBA to bring teams to places that don't already have a basketball team.
Yeah, Pittsburgh,
like Kansas City, Pittsburgh,
Des Moines, Iowa.
To name 2.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines, Iowa as well. Omaha, Nebraska, even.
Yeah,
they had the Iowa Des Moines, Iowa had the Iowa Barnstormers for a while.
Oh, that's right.
The old Arena Football League team, the Iowa Barnstormers.
Yeah. And they had
give me a team in St. Louis, and I'll be happy.
You know what? Me and St. Louis.
Yeah,
had a love-hate relationship. Now, I absolutely adore St. Louis and Kansas City because my wife and I took a trip through St. Louis, and she just happened to snap a couple of photos of one of my favorite places. That, of course, being Busch Stadium.
Yep.
Damn you, Sox fan. Sorry.
Hey, the St. Louis Cardinals were my first ever favorite team because of Ozzie Smith and George Hendrick and those guys. And my dad was a Southsider. My granddad was a Southsider. So it's instilled in me. And that was my first game I ever went to.
Respect.
Right?
Respect.
Yeah, I am a Southsider to my heart. To the point where a year ago for my birthday, my wife surprised me with a White Sox birthday. She gave me a history book, a T-shirt, and a hat. She surprised me with a White Sox birthday.
That's beautiful. You know, you can get $10 tickets for their last home games
if I make it up there.
It's
going to depend. I'll be up there. I'll be up there next month. I know I'll be up there next month. All right, we got to go. We're out of time. But Alison, thank you, my dear, so much for joining us. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week. Go Seattle and Minnesota as well. Not Seattle. Phoenix and Minnesota. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.